Why is there so many people suffering? Why are people going through struggles? Why the whole world is struggling? Why people cry and ululate and are in sorrow and in pain? Why do people have anxieties? Why do people have all kinds of bad feelings? Why? This is very serious, guys. You can spend your time in. The only thing that every single human has, I think the most important thing that everyone has in this life, on this planet, it's not money, it's not fame, it's not influence, not even health, it's time. It is time. The most valuable currency is time. And I think time is the most important thing in the world. The reason, why do you think people become millionaires? Why do you think you pay so much money for Uber, or for taxi, or for internet, or for services, right? For your house, for your rent. Why? It's because the time that would have taken you to get somewhere without a car would have been far longer. The time that would have taken you to recover from the sickness that you got because you didn't have a house would have been far longer than taking your money and buying or renting an apartment. The time is the most important asset. I'm sitting over here today, right? I'm sitting over here and I'm recording this video and I'm spending my time. And then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take this video, I'm gonna edit it, I'm gonna process it, and I'm gonna upload it, right? And that will take me time as well. The truth is that all of us, we all have a countdown timer that we are not aware of. Think about how people would have lived in their lives if in front of them they've seen a real number of seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and years they have left to live. Think about if you would have had a contact lenses that would have projected you a timer, a countdown to your death. And you would have woken up every single day in the morning and you would have looked ahead and you would have seen, hey, in the corner of your eye you can see this counter and it says you have 9,000 something days left to live. And you see this number declining. You see this number going down every single day that you wake up. I think you would have lived differently. I think you would have cherished, and I think the values that you would have put on things would have been totally different. We live our lives as if we think we're going to be eternal. We live our lives as if we think we're going to live forever. But this cannot be further from the truth, right? The truth is that our lives are short. The 70 or 100 years that we have in comparison to the grand scale of life, 5 to 10,000 or 6,000, that's how long the earth has existed. It's literally nothing. Literally nothing, guys. The eternity that you and I are going to spend either in hell or heaven is uncomparable to 70 or 100 years that we have in this life. So the bigger question for all of you guys is, what are you doing with those hours? What are you doing with those minutes? What is it that you're doing to invest? Or is the things that you're doing while spending your unreturnable time are worth spending your time on? Really? If you're playing a video game, and I know, especially in 2020, the perspective on video games has changed a lot. People are freaking worshiping nowadays gamers. But the truth is that 99% of the gamers who are trying to make it and make money off of it are going to fail. And if you spend 10, 20, 30 years gaming your ass off, trying to show your skills, you might never make it. And at the end, you're practically wasting your time. Now, you might say, hey, I spent this time because I enjoyed what I've done. I've spent this time enjoying my life. Okay, but the truth is, then why did you live? You know, there's this huge notion that you need to live your life to be happy. You need to live your life to be happy. Like all of the people, everyone on earth, if you were to come to them and say, hey, is it true? Do you agree with the saying that if you live your whole entire life and at the end you're happy, then it was worth living? Everyone would have agreed. Everyone would have said yes, right? Of course, why not? How the heck not? But the truth is, it's not true. It's not true. Why? I'll tell you why. Because there's other people. You don't live alone. You don't exist alone. This clothes were made by somebody else. This garden around you was built by somebody else. This phone that I'm using to record me talking to you was built by somebody else. The service provided to me, the internet service provided to me to be able to
has changed because we've closed up from this side. Over here, underneath this window, so right here we've used 8x2 timber and we've had to build the wall out a little bit, and then on this side we've used 4x2 timber. So the entire area has stepped out from the wall because this will be an area where you can sit. We're ready to push on here. We have the drywall adhesive and we have our plasterboard for the dot and dab what's going to be taking place here. I can see by the bucket that we have already been putting PVA on the wall, and then we're going to start boarding this up. Okay, so that's about 2550, yeah. About 2550. In here, we're beginning to put the track system in for the suspended ceiling. We're trying to work out what the finish level will be for Jan and Steph, and we've worked out that it will be 2550. We're trying to simulate that with this plasterboard on the floor, and we've measured out 2 plasterboards from the tracking system here. So that's a pretty decent height in any size house, in any area. In this area, the screed is also dry, and I'm noticing a big change. What I did see on FaceTime last week is that the opening that we've made to the garage, we have now closed that. First fix is complete all around here. You can see by the amount of cables in the ceiling and all the sockets which are on the walls. Also, you can see our lasers in place. Now, lasers are what we use to ensure that we get the ceiling height and the walls accurate. In the garage, we've had to remove the door because it was up and over, and we have Ventaxia units going here. There wouldn't be any space to work. So we've built this makeshift construction here to keep out the natural elements. Out by the changing room shed area, the construction of the roof is complete. We have built this from 8x2 joists. Having a look here, I can see the boys are making a load of noggings to strengthen it. Also, I can also see some ventilation holes which are put in place. We're going to use 120mm insulation here, and above that there's going to be a 50mm gap for ventilation. Previously you saw this wall which we were building up for the flower bed that was going to go in the back here. Well, this wall is 95% complete, and we are just rendering. Now, previously, you also saw the base coat of render going on. In total, there's going to be 3 coats of render, and now we are doing the top coat on the back. You can see we have plenty already mixed, and we have someone here helping, the same guy that you've seen doing the plastering. He's the man with the skills with the trowel, and now he is doing the render. You saw previously when the coping stones arrived. If you have a look here, you can see that some of them are on already. Trouble is that it keeps raining and we're not going to work outside in the rain. So whenever the rain stops, we go outside, we do a little bit, then we stop, it starts raining again, then we're in and out, in and out. Thankfully, there's plenty of things to do here, and most of the lads here are multi-skilled. So if you can't be outside doing this, then they come inside and do something else. The front extension is almost complete. You can see the masonry work in, and we have also moved the front door from its previous location there to out here. Now, this front door is not staying, but this will give you an idea as to how much space has been gained within the hallway area. Where the door and the wall previously were, it was holding up the wall above. So what we're doing here is we're building up 2 pillars either side, and we're going to put a steel in place to hold up this wall. This is the room I showed you a couple of weeks ago, which we had neglected for a long time. And a very, very long time ago, there was an opening here which you could walk straight into the other room. But now we've completely boarded this room up. You can see as well there's an LED feature light here, so we are ready for plastering. This isn't plastered because the gentleman you saw outside doing the rendering, he's the same man who plasters in here, as I explained. So while it's not raining, we're going to deal with the render. As soon as it starts raining, we're going to come in here and continue plastering. Base coats are on in this room, and we needed to get the walls nice and white so we could put these samples here. That way Jan and Steph can come along and they can have a look at the colours. If we would have just painted this straight onto the plaster, you wouldn't have got a good idea of what the colour really looked like, the depth of it, how warm it is. So by painting it white and then putting it on it, you have a much better idea of what it will look like when it's all done. In this bathroom, the ceiling is now up. We need to tape it up. We have ankle beads on the... Ankle beads, you know. Ankle beads, yeah. Ankle beads. Can you imagine? Yeah, right. Let's go again. In this bathroom, the ceiling is done, but what we need to do is tape it up. We have the angle beads on the floor, and we are ready to start tiling. In this bathroom, we are moving along nicely with tiling, but it is painful. We're not allowed to have any tile edges. Jan and Steph want all the tiles to be mitered, and get this, in this bathroom thus far, we have not been able to put one full tile down. Every single tile in this entire bathroom has had to have been cut in some way, somewhere, to get around the niches, to get around the window, to get around the bath area. Not one full tile. On the top floor here, not much to see, apart from the base coats are all in place. The decorators aren't actually here at the moment. They're working at another job we finished a year ago. It's been like 13, 14 months, and it's the end of the defects period. So thankfully, there's nothing there but a few cracks, just, door frames and above door frames. Nothing out of the ordinary. The decorators are there. They need to finish, and then they will be back here. I have to go and look at a job now, and Dan is going to head back to the office and start cutting up this. Where can you stand and get the... Okay. Where can you stand and see as much as you can? Wednesday morning, we are on site. As you can see, we are not at the yard. Guys, we're filming for a standalone video. I'm filming with Andrew Southern, who you've seen in the... This is a shot there, what I'm looking... No, you say no? Thursday, and I'm in the yard. We've just had a delivery. Old automatic DAF tipper. The other morning, the driver was going to go out of this, and when he did his walk around, he... Hold on! Hi, I'm Daniel, and this is Asheville Weekly, episode 35. This week, we have one train, but a mountain of material to move. I have a full day of meetings in the city. We hope to have the bifolds in at Castle Shalalambus, and we're trialing, not signposting the days in this week's episode. One take! I told you I'd get it in one take. Step into my office. Cracks appearing. It can loosen it up. I'm going to hold you over a barrel. Yeah, I'll get in the back there. It was a deep dish. I was a bit intrigued. I'm not going to lie. And you have to be careful when you're doing it. Got to firm it. Buckets of sweat coming off me. It's got to be up. I basically couldn't walk properly. I don't like, but we have to suck it up sometimes. I can't be mad at him for that. It's just about pushing. We'll see how that works out for me. Let's take it all out. Come inside. Today is not a day to be playing dress up. Bam! I suppose we can start. What's this on? Is this thing on? Yeah. Are you rolling? Oh, okay. So you were rolling already? Without asking. You're just rolling. Just rolling. What, just in case that happens. Yeah. Alright, cool. We are at Castle Shalalambus. For the first time in a long time, I've taken off my jumper. And makes it slightly easier to get my high vis on. Gonna see how we're getting here. Gonna see how we're getting on here. I'm not getting here. Still half asleep. Is that mic position all right for you? I know you like to complain about stuff like that. Is that all right? Yeah. Nice. I'm at Crossroad. Had this van for a number of years. I actually remember going to buy it. It's a special one. It's an extra long wheelbase. It can fit 6 people in it, and you've got 3 meters in the back. This is a Euro 5, which means this is going to be costing a lot of money to go into London. It's got over 100,000 miles on the clock, and I always kept fixing it because we had it. You know when you know where it's been, you know that you've been servicing it, you know that you've only taken it to Volkswagen, so I kept fixing it. It's come to a point now with this ultra-low emission zones where it's really no longer affordable to keep fixing this and then paying for this to go into London on a daily basis. Now, I was researching how much one of these is brand new. Now, I thought I paid a lot of money for this before. Do you know how much it costs for a van these days? I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I think the old girl might have to be put out to pasture and something new might have to come along. But then again, I have to consider if we're still going to use this, because on a building site, there are bits and pieces what you need on a daily basis. Everybody says plan your materials at the beginning of the week. Well, in actual fact, it doesn't work like that. You can plan your large materials like a delivery of concrete blocks, bags of sand, MDF plasterboard, stuff like that. But when you're trying to push a job along forward, things happen on a daily basis. You need to adapt and evolve, and it's the most efficient way to quickly shoot to the builders merchants, get what you need, come back and get something finished so you can move on to something else and you can continually resequence. I need to think about whether we're still going to use vans like this and keep one driver on the road running between all the building sites. I'm not quite procrastinating, I'm deliberating. At the front of the house, you saw us building up these pillars in previous episodes and supporting the wall above. Well, now we've built up the pillars a little bit more and we've rented this equipment to lift the steel in place. Now the steel is in place, we're going to continue to build up this wall, and then the steel will sit on a pad stone either side. In Yanni's area, I am happy to see that the bifolds are now in. We're just doing a bit of measuring up because we're going to begin to board these walls using dot and dab. I'm very interested and I'm thinking about how we're going to finish up to these bifolds. Without speaking to Dudek, I assume we're going to come to this point here, we're going to have an angle bead here, and we're going to finish as flushly close to the bifolds as possible. Obviously without getting plaster and dirt all over them. Ordinarily, I would go around to the other side, talk about that room, and then go into the garden, but I'm not going to do that today because I want to enjoy these lovely bifolds. Now I love that. Once we've built up the area out here and we're finishing more or less flushed. Once we finish out here and we have paving and we finish up to the threshold of these bifolds, it's a lovely way to bring the outside in or the inside out, however you look at it. But I do love a set of bifolds. A lot of other people talk about sliding doors. They prefer the sliding doors, but me personally, stacking one way, outside, perfect. This is the world's best shed. I'm considering moving into this. Stay with me for the build-up of this, right? So, on the block work, we have this plaster prime. It's kind of like a outdoor PVA. And on top of that, we have the base layer of the K-Rend with the mesh here. And then we have a top coat of K-Rend as well. You would never think that this is just a shed where people are getting changed. It has waterproofing capabilities and also is slightly flexible. In the past, we've just used sand and cement to render on walls like this, and then you see cracks appearing because of movement and stuff like that. When we do it like this, we don't get any cracks. At the end of the retaining wall for the flower bed and the retaining wall to stop everything collapsing, we have the plant area for the swimming pool. Now, at this point, we can see the base coat of the K-Rend starts. But if you have a look on the other side of the wall, you can see the difference in color, because on the back side of the wall, we have used sand and cement, and that is finished. I was gonna go through this way, but the boys have covered up all the bifolds. We're protecting them from dust and debris. So, I think we're gonna have to go back round again. Apologies for the noise, this is a building site. On this wall, we have put all the plasterboard on with dot and dab, and we are moving our way around the walls. In this area, what you'll see in a second, the suspended ceiling is almost done. Once we're finished with there, we'll make our way over here, and I am told the fireplace, what's going in that cutout there, will be here next week. See the suspended ceiling here, got fantastic height. And you've got so many different services in here. You've got electrical, we've got data, we've got ventilation, we've got copper pipe work. I think that's about it. Guys, tell me in the comments below if you think I've missed out anything what is in the ceiling voids here. In this room, as Yanni's bed is now in here, we are closing this up. So we have the original window that was here, which we have saved, which is covered by Corex, and we're just building up the engineering bricks here, and then we're going to slot this window back in. So this building is near enough with the bifolds in, and now this window going in is near enough watertight. This bathroom is a labour of love, with the amount of niches which are going in here, and no tile edges allowed, and all the tiles being mitered. It does take a mighty long time, and you have to be careful when you're doing it. You don't want to rush. If you crack a tile, then the whole tile is gone, but it is going really well, and when it finishes, it's going to look fantastic. One of them things, you go into the room and you can say, oh my God, this is a really nice room, and you're not going to realise why it's a nice room. It's because of the way the tiling has been done. But like I said, it's a labour of love. It's not something that you can accelerate. It's all hands on deck at the moment. It's actually half term now, so a lot of the boys are off. So there's less staff here than there was previously, but we're working outside, we're working inside. The ground floor was slightly behind, but the first fix of electrical and plumbing is done. Jan and Steph have chosen their colours, so there's going to be a lot of wallpaper in this house. We need to finish boarding on the ground floor, get those ceilings in place, but we're just waiting on some of the AV guys to let us know about a bit more cables that have to be in the wall. Once we have the walls done in the garden, we're going to start to bring in type 1 so we can start to spread that everywhere and start to get some paving down, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. On the upper floors, there's a lot of base coats on, and we just need to start the second fix in places. The tiling is moving along nicely, but a lot of the tilers are not here this week, so that will slow us down in that area, but hopefully we can catch up with that next week. Time is pushing on, got to leave the site. Before I do, I've realized this back box is in place. We are going to do a separate video on this. This house is going to be completely automated, so we're going to have a control system from top to bottom, controlling all the electronic appliances in this house. That's everything from your TVs, from your Blu-ray players, from your projectors, to your lights, to your underfloor heating. Absolutely everything will be controlled at the touch of a button. So guys, stay tuned for that. It's very hot down here in the city of London. Today is not a day to be playing dress up. Obviously got the Asheville polo on today, but I've got that different kind of perforated material which is slightly cooler, because the fully cotton one would have had buckets of sweat coming off me. Back-to-back meetings. It's just about pushing Asheville forward to the place where it needs to be and getting a load of compliance paperwork. Sometimes it's a bit slow. Sometimes it's a bit tedious, and sometimes you're repeating yourself, but it is necessary. So I'm going to try now to get back to the yard, but I'm not sure how the traffic will be. It's half term, so it may be all right. A lot of people, I think, maybe I wasn't clear, I apologise, or some people have misunderstood, and they think Asheville Weekly's coming out every 2 weeks. No, Asheville Weekly is still coming out every week, but what it is, we had a 1 week break, so now every week Asheville Weekly is behind, so it's 1 week behind. And a lot of you watching my deadlift, my mistake when I said 300 ton. Look guys, I think I'm a superhero, but I'm not deadlifting 300 ton. I'm going to level with you. I had a number of back problems. I had 2 slip discs, my L4 and L5. I basically couldn't walk properly for about 9 months. That was like 3 years ago, and I've managed to make a full recovery, and it was a long process. I couldn't straighten my back for like 4 or 5 months of that, and it took a lot of stretching and a lot of hanging. I have a bar in my house where I hang upside down to take out the compression in my spine, and I had to stretch every muscle in my entire body. I did train earlier today. I trained legs, and I got a problem with my knees. Before I stopped training, I could warm my knees up, and then after some movement, my knees would like kind of lubricate, but my knees aren't lubing up anymore, no matter how much I warm up. So instead of doing squats at the moment, I've gone back to doing leg press. When I'm doing leg press, because I can't rack the weight on as much as I want to do in leg press because of the pressure on my knees, as I just said a minute ago, I'm actually doing something called the 300. Yes, Leonidas and the Spartan Warriors. I'm doing 6 sets of 50. So on the first leg press, 6 sets of 50 until we get up to 300 reps, and then you move across and do like a different hack squat and leg extension and 2 hamstring exercises, and finally calf. So for all of you who say, oh, I skip leg day, I do not skip leg day. I just have skinny ankles, which I can do nothing about. Just saw an email come through. We are meant to have 1 train this week, just 1, and that train was cancelled. There has been a loading problem today, which means we will not get the train on Tuesday. Very disappointing when you've only got 1 and that's cancelled. That means 100% of your trains have been cancelled. And finally guys, looking to expand the video team again. Yes, we're always trying to step it up. We're going to be looking for experienced videographers. Yes, Will has come on full time, but we still want to take on more because we want to produce those 2 videos a week and those great standalone videos that I keep talking about. I always like to have things around to give me something to aim for. I have had this on every desk I've ever had for years. This is the Asheville private jet, and here is the Asheville Maybach, even though Maybachs are, okay, well, let's ignore the grill. This is the Asheville Maybach. These are the sort of things that I have on my desk and I have around to inspire me and keep reminding me what I'm trying to do. See there, the driver can open the door. then he can get out, and then he can let me in. Like, here I am. Yeah, I'll get in the back there. But I believe that this is old school now. I believe everyone. I don't even think there's a Maybach anymore. It's a Mercedes Maybach. So yeah, we've changed how that's done. So maybe I need to get one of those for my desk. And there was also a Bugatti here somewhere, but I think one of my godchildren came round and he destroyed it. Can't be mad at him for that. When I said to my mum that he destroyed my Bugatti, my mum said, leave him, he's expressed. So next time I'm going to bring my godchildren to my mum's house and let them express themselves at my mum's house and destroy her things.
Wilson was gassing this morning, now he's now full-time.
Money. It never comes easy. But now it could. Invest.
Yeah, say that again, Tezza. Step into my office. Step into my office. What happened? Will was gassing this morning.
Will come in this morning, gassing on us all, saying he's now full-time employee, and we all need to fix up.
Will's shaking his head like that, saying, no, he's back to doing the Churchill dog thing.
Come in this morning.
He said, you better watch yourself. I said, all right. Is that what he said, yeah?
Sorry.
So after us sticking up for Will and people trying it with Will at college and people trying it with me, Will comes here and the first thing he does is bully Terry. Terry, what I need you to do is I need you to write an account of this and put this forward to your HR manager, which is me. Right. Yeah? And then I'm going to conduct the necessary interviews to see the relevant guilty parties and the disciplinary action which Will could face for such things. Are you all right, though?
On this first, I'll be all right. I'll make it through the day, all right?
I'm waiting for the point where Terry says because of what happened with Will, he needs to go fishing. Yeah. I'm waiting for that. It hasn't come yet, but
because of the mental stress.
The mental stress of Will trying it with him. But don't worry, Terry, I've got you. And Scania are here, people. What's Scania doing here?
Fuel cap.
Fuel caps.
Mysteriously, fuel caps keep going.
The fuel cap. That's another thing in Nashville, and nobody knows what happened, Dan. In this yard, you come in the morning, and every day a driver has lost a fuel cap. Now, ordinarily, I'd like to say someone else is going to buy it, like you lot, you keep doing it, but really and truly, I don't want to not have a fuel cap on. Firstly, because it's illegal, and if they go out on the road, it's a PG9, the lorry will get parked up. And secondly, without a fuel cap, you never know what could go inside the tank and contaminate the diesel, and then damage the engine and the entire system. So it's one of those things that I don't like, but we have to suck it up sometimes. So we buy 4 or 5 at a time. Scania have luckily come here, and while I'm standing here, you can see how sunny it is and the fact we have to put the sprinkler on to keep this area wet just to suppress the dust a little bit. But we can't put too much water, because if we put too much water then the yard gets messy. The sweeper is back in full effect. We have not taken out the dent at the back, but we have a new, and the mirror has been sorted out as well. This is ready to go back out on the road and get cleaning. Bit of a misconception. On the video where we showed the sweeper restoration, click here to watch that video, a lot of people were saying, why am I sweeping the road when it's wet? I need to wait till the road is dry. That's not entirely true, guys. If you have like thick mud on a road that's built up over a couple of days, when it rains, it sometimes loosens it up for you. It can loosen it up, and then when you go over with the sweeper, it's easier to pick it up. I understand the logic behind driving on a dry road. Sometimes it works well when you go over it in water as well, so don't jump on it every time.
What's he doing in the sweeper? He don't know what he's doing. It's raining and he's out in the sweeper.
It still cleans the road, especially a new bad boy sweeper like this. There's plenty of feathers and stuff going around the...
Man, so good to see you, man.
Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.